Hello again. Today we're in Toulouse in France and we're just heading along to Cité de l'Espace, or City of Space in English. This is a space-themed attraction on the outskirts of the city that has space travel exhibits, an IMAX cinema, a planetarium and much more. In this video I'll take you around this visitor attraction as we explore it for ourselves. I'll show you what it's like inside, what you get for your money, tell you about the food options that are available and also how much this all costs. We're visiting in October on a Tuesday, so it's really quiet today. So as we approach the entrance, there's a quick security check of backpacks, which you can see were totally free of queues when we arrived. This is quite a large park with a lot of things to see and do, so let's head on up to the ticket office to begin our visit. Inside here, it's clear it's set up for a lot of visitors, but today there's no queues again, and we step up to the cash desk. We hadn't pre-booked, so paid on the day, where an adult ticket cost €29. That's quite a lot, but I'll speak about value for money later on. For now though, we have our tickets, and also here there's a small number of free luggage lockers where we stored our bags. Obviously if it was a busier day then it's likely these would be filled up quickly as there wasn't really that many. Okay, we're all set, so let's scan our ticket and head through the barriers to begin our visit. We opt to head outside first around the side of the gift shop. So let's have a look around at the outdoor exhibits before we head to our first show at the IMAX. I'll catch up with you there. Okay, here is the IMAX theatre and we're heading inside to watch a big screen presentation. This is also where the planetarium is, which due to a technical hitch we didn't manage to catch a showing, so I don't really know what that was like. Probably worth mentioning too that while we're here today and it's very quiet, if this was the height of summer at the weekend and rammed with people, then it's highly unlikely you'll get to see everything due to having to queue. There's time showings and demonstrations and sometimes limited numbers of places, so you might end up spending a lot of your time queuing. Anyway, no problem for us today as we head inside the IMAX theatre and take a seat. We picked up a headset along the way as the film was mostly in French. The headset had a variety of other languages which you could select, and it was also, a little bit dirty, so that wasn't good. Anyway, no filming of the show, but basically it was a 40-minute documentary called Deep Sky about the James Webb Telescope, which was pretty interesting. However, it's not unique to City of Space as it's shown in other IMAX cinemas around the world, so while it was new to us, it may be a film you've already seen. With the film over, we headed outside and passed our life-size replica of the James Webb Telescope before heading along to explore in and around another replica, this time of the Soviet-era Mir space station. They have the actual engineer model used for ground tests, so it's pretty cool. We'll check that out before it's time for a live demonstration of some Mars rovers, and I'll catch up with you again when we get there.
Arrivage dans Crate, avec ces nouveaux éléments.
Est-ce que vous m'entendez? Mais pas de soucis, je me sens très bien. À l'origine du système solaire et de la vision.
Mir space complex. Absolutely beautiful.
We're now heading into the live action arena to be shown some working Mars rover replicas. This was a very well done and well rehearsed demonstration, but was all in French with no other language options.
Celui-ci va se déplacer grâce à servomotrices qui sont alimentées en électricité par des batteries. Une voiture, elle pèse 1 tonne, 1025 kg pour être précis. Toutes ces mesures de température, on les connaît grâce à un instrument en particulier. Lorsque le laser frappe la roche, elle va chauffer à plus de 10 000 degrés, soit plus chaud que la surface du Soleil. Ce bras, il va surtout servir à effectuer des carottages, à prélever des échantillons sous forme de cylindre, grâce à la foreuse qui va sortir au bout de la tourelle. On comprend, ça ce sont des petits cailloux que Persévérance franchit tous les jours sur Mars.
Pretty entertaining, even though the rovers went at a pretty slow pace. I guess it was realistic, but I did feel we missed out on there not being an English language option for what was being said. Well, we're now moving on to look around at other parts of the park, and obviously unmissable is the huge Ariane 5 rocket replica and its supporting tower. Inside the tower is an activity centre for kids to enjoy, so let's have a quick look around that before heading to our next timed attraction. We're now joining a group to head inside the Lunar Explorer experience. Here there's a short talk in both French and English about the NASA Artemis program with the intention to return to the moon quite soon.
C'est un programme qui a été lancé en 2019 pour fêter un anniversaire.
12 astronauts followed suit. No one has been back since.
The experience takes you through a launch and landing on the moon. It's an immersive experience using a centrifuge to spin capsules around, and you'll experience up to 2G of force here. There's no filming of the experience itself, and it was quite an unusual feeling, which I personally didn't like so much, but others really did though. Definitely worth checking this out though if you come to the park. Bear in mind there's a height limit to this experience, so those with smaller children would not be allowed in. Also there's limited numbers per time slot for this experience, so if the park was busy you'll either have to queue for a long time or miss out on the Lunar Explorer. And as I mentioned, we also missed out on the planetarium due to a technical problem with their equipment. Plus, we also didn't have time to see the presentation "The Eagle has landed" beside the Luna module, as the timing didn't work for us. However, there is a very extensive museum over 4 floors to explore here too, with a lot of interactive exhibits and displays taking you through the history of spaceflight. Plus, it gives you an idea of what it would be like to be on a futuristic moon base. So let's check out that, and I'll catch up with you near the end for a summary on what we thought of our time at this space-themed attraction.
Malgré sa complexité, le retour de l'homme sur la Lune n'est pas le but ultime, jusqu'aux portes de la planète rouge.
Attention à la connexion avec l'espace.
Our time at City of Space is coming to an end, and we needed to head off to our next destination, actually to catch a flight back home. But what's my thoughts on this experience? Well, the ticket price is quite high, but to be fair, we spent the entire day here and still didn't see everything. We had to rush through parts, especially the museum section, and would have gladly stayed longer if we had the time to. So in that respect it works out pretty good value for money. You'll have noticed it was pretty quiet when we visited on an off-season Tuesday. However, I could imagine on a busy day it would be a totally different experience and you'd spend far too long queuing to see things. The fact we missed out on the planetarium and the moon landing talk was a shame, but it was good that we saw everything else, although other language options for the Lunar rover demonstration should have been given. Food was limited on site. There was a cafe, but it was closed, and the restaurant closed early and seemed more like a proper sit-down restaurant with no other options. My advice would be to bring your own food and drink. Overall though, this was a great experience for us and well worth the time and money. It is an experience not to be missed if you're in Toulouse. Even if you're not into space travel, you'll find the overall experience interesting and memorable. I hope you liked this video and found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. It really helps my channel, so thanks for doing that. And I'll see you on my next video, somewhere else in the world. See ya!